98th General Assembly starts at noon on Wednesday. I certainly hope that it's a different session than what the first was, in so many different ways. I can't imagine at this point in time what's going to take most of our time. I'm confident the issue of transportation is going to take some time. Maybe labor, I don't know. We caucus at 11 o'clock on Wednesday, and I'll know a little more then. I will try to come by on a more regular basis and try to keep you all posted as to what's going on.
That'd be great.
Budget will once again be an issue. Education will be an issue. Same old, same old. The ethics reform is going to be an issue. I'm confident of that. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to basically work on two different pieces of legislation. They're both law enforcement related. I spent 30 years in law enforcement, so I kind of lean that away. One of them is going to be trying to do something with the videotaping sunshine law issues that deals with what can and cannot be released that officers see. I think we're asking for big trouble if we're going to get a handle on this. And then the other piece of legislation specifically involves sheriffs and their authority over jurisdiction. Currently, the state law only allows the sheriff to assist a county another sheriff in adjoining counties. That come about in 1969. I haven't got everything wrapped up with that. In a day when county sheriffs' resources are dwindling and counties have resources, it just doesn't make any sense to me that we can't share these resources. Now, this request will become at the request of the sheriff to sheriff, and must involve a critical incident. I'm not going to have a sheriff from Clay County go to Mercer County to help with the fair. That's ridiculous. But 3 years ago, Mercer County, I use those as an example, Mercer County had a triple homicide. They've got a sheriff and a part-time deputy. They do not have the resources. Clay County, Platte County, Cass County, Buchanan County, Ray County all have elite teams that could have helped solve that crime, and they could not go. That just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm going to work pretty hard to see if we can get that done.
I do appreciate that because it's not overly common happening in certain Jefferson City issues. Currently, common sense isn't always the rule of the day.
It always doesn't rule the day. And I'm hoping that we see a different I'm hoping we have to see a different session this time. That's all I got. Any questions?
Just bring that down to us like common sense. This is pretty easy. Common sense is common sense, regardless of what party you're in.
Yeah.
It's easy.
So
Congratulations.
it has been interesting since I've been there, and you guys know what that's like. So I'm sure it's going to be interesting to do.
Yeah, we already talked
Oh,
about
okay.
the most smart issue.
Yeah, the smart issues been covered. That was the one thing I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I think so. That's another worthwhile thing. We don't realize it in our world today. Until this legislation was put in place, we had deputy sheriffs living on $18,000 a year and driving their own car. I know some of them. And not only did they buy their own uniform, their own handgun, they put gas in the car out of their paycheck. That's crazy. And so Mospark come along and was tremendous in bringing that annual salary up to a living wage. The issue that comes into, for those that aren't familiar with it, the issue comes into play that there's a $10 fee attached to every service paper that's served, and that money goes into a special fund that's used to pay for this salary adjustment. Well, every county contributes. And I assure you, Clay County, Platte County, Buchanan County, Jackson County, Cass County put in a whole lot more money than what they get out. Currently, there are no one on that board from a first-class county, and I want to change that. I think that needs to change. I think sheriffs in first-class counties need some kind of representation on that board, so. So that's but most parts it's in place, it's working well. We had some folks last year want to meddle with the funding, and I was able to stop that.
Just to put in your information toolbox for what ended up happening here with us in the middle of the year, because since the state is on a fiscal year that runs from June 30 to June 30, and we're on a calendar fiscal year, right in the middle of our fiscal year, we got hit with an additional, I may have to ask staff on this, but I want to say it was $140,000, wasn't it, for a portion of the year? Is that right?
North North.
I'm not positive of the exact number.
It was over $100,000 that we had to find somewhere in our budget, because it was reduced to such a low amount that realistically no first-class county is going to be able to hire anybody
Right.
for the amount that they were trying to raise it up to. So they took everybody that was, I think, 18,000 up to 25 or
20.
some,
Fire.
right. Well, we became a giant donor county as
Oh,
well
yeah.
as Platte and
Oh,
Cass.
yeah, you're
But
not alone
it
in
hit
that.
us in the middle of our budget
You're
year.
not alone in
And it was pretty expensive. And the other number, just to, because I know you need these things kind of on the spur of the moment and debate sometimes there. The National Healthcare Bill, whatever you want to call it, our insurance specialists have estimated for us that if things aren't changed, that we either are going to have to eliminate 2 of our more popular insurance option plans, which of course is part of what goes into this is where does the, of course I can't find it.
Well,
Or it will cost us somewhere between 1.4 and 1.8 million dollars if we don't make that elimination. And
I know,
it's
I'm well aware
pretty
of
bad.
that. I'm well aware of that. And so we'll just do the best we can. But most parts a good deal.
I think it is a
There's
good
still,
program.
there's still some bugs in it, but there's a big deal.
Two things that I would like to say in addition to that is that if we could have our budget officer forward, Representative Wilson, the information on, to the dollar, what we had experienced earlier, or I should say last year, that would be, I think, helpful. That way you would have the exact figures in front of you.
Yeah, and I don't know the conversations that led up to that, but I've got to believe that somebody from a first-class county was sitting on that board, at least you've got a voice.
And that's the second thing I want to point out is in both this and the cooperative arrangement between sheriffs, Representative Wilson is essentially trying to make a better working relationship between all the different counties and their law enforcement sheriffs.
Absolutely.
Both of those are, I mean, by having a representative on that board, it brings the first-class counties into the conversation, and I see that as a positive thing, that we're communicating across those kinds of jurisdictions.
Yeah, that's my goal. We'll see what happens. So, thank you, Mayor.
Doug, were there any-
Thanks.
Good luck.
Be careful driving.